Hey, what's going on, guys? Botmentality here with another Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum chart analysis for you. And today is May 7th of 2018. And wow, guys, have we seen some super impressive price action today? A lot of volatility. There's been a massive opportunity for both longs and shorts, the bulls and the bears. It has been awesome. We were able to capitalize on that in the chat today. Everything went really great there. Had some nice profits. I'll get into that a little bit at the end of the video. I made a trade on EOS, a little bit of altcoin action there, and we've been seeing some runners there too. So just definitely a lot we'll go ahead and jump into. There's a lot of money to be made everywhere right now, especially when we see these periods of high volatility. And so I hope you're able to capitalize on that. And we'll definitely see some more here in the future. And I want to kind of show you what I see right now and how the charts are setting up here on the market leaders. So we'll go ahead and jump into Bitcoin right now. So here on the daily, we'll start off on the daily. Usually I usually start zoomed in, but we'll start a little bit further out and then zoom in. So really the big points to be watching on the daily continues. You know, we had the low, we put in that low there at 6,500, right? And then the high everyone's looking for is 10,000. So right away, you're going to place two markers at that location. We'll zoom in a little bit more, and you'll see we had a low inside of this right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'll change the color here for you, like a little bit easier to see. We had that low put in here at 8,600, which set up the B of the ABCD pattern, and then we had the high up here at which was $9,763.49. This range right here. Okay. Now we've established another low on the daily, which is right here, which is at the low of yesterday, which was or actually earlier today, I should say, the 7th. The low was $9,162.85, and so that's where we established another low right there. So as you can see right now, we're forming we have the whole equilibrium pattern setting up, the ABCD pattern. So we have this lower high, right, and another higher low right here, okay, and then what we're seeing is a higher high here and a higher low right here. And so really, what we're really forming is a sort of wedge up at the top of that price action there at 10,000. But the main point is just to understand that we're seeing higher highs right now and higher lows. But in this, as far as the horizontal pattern, we're seeing a breaking of support, a retesting, and then a reject with a higher low forming. So essentially what we're doing is, we came up right here, back down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so what we saw here is that this $9,175 area, which I talked about in my prior analysis, and I know I definitely sent that out in my newsletter for the past, 2 days, is that we saw that support, that 9,175 area. That's what the level we were looking for. And the reason why we saw that is because it was previous resistance in the past. And you know that prior resistance will become support, and vice versa. So that's what we're seeing right now, guys. We're seeing higher lows, and we're seeing a build up towards still the 10,000 test. Now, a lot of people were freaking out. Everyone was like, whoa, wait, this 10,000 test. And we saw the, drop it down to the 4-hour here, see what I'm talking about. So we saw this pullback right here, guys, and people were freaking out. People were like, this is it. We have the double top, and I will say the double top was significant, but we still had a lot of critical and a significant support to break before we got down towards, the 8,400 area, which I saw a lot of people talking about. But, we were going down here. Everybody was like, oh, no, we're going down. The markets are going down. We're going to crash. We're out of fuel. But what happened was we ended up curling right here, and the buyers came in at previous levels of support. So don't freak out. Just keep an eye on those levels when we identify them. And there was a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the FUD that came into this as well regarding the Ethereum scandal. And we'll talk about in a minute. I have some stuff to talk about that. But really here, so what we're looking at here is we're still seeing those higher lows here on the 4-hour that I marked out there on the daily, these higher lows. Keep an eye on these price levels right now. We need to see these continue to hold. What this is going to do is put pressure on 10,000. When we put pressure on 10,000, what we're going to see is, I'm going to draw it for you right there. Boom. So when we start putting pressure on that line and this line right here, which I will draw just like that, what we're going to see is as long as we continue to hold this line, we're going to form this sort of essentially ascending wedge right here, and we'll see what happens. Basically, I'm not going to say we're going to break through 10,000, but I will say we've been seeing bullishness around these lows, holding here on the 9,000, holding here on the 9,175, holding here at the 9,200. Again, we're seeing those consistent higher lows, and the big picture idea is the 10,000 break. So just keep an eye on this trend line that I drew. If we break below that and reject against it, I would consider that a bearish signal. But so far, the volume's been looking pretty good. We've seen volume come in at critical points, right? This sell-off that we just had wasn't even more than the sell-off we had back here, and we recovered from that. So just keep things in perspective, guys. No, it's not that big of a deal. We don't want to see 10,000 reject again. I'll tell you that right now. We certainly don't want to see a lower high here and pull back below this trend line. But That's what you need to keep an eye out for. So right now, what I'm looking for in the future on Bitcoin is to reclaim 9,400 over the next 6-12 hours. Hold that, and then we'll continue pushing higher. But that's critical resistance points, as you see right here in the past. We had a lot of resistance there, 9,400. That's what I'm looking for. We saw a nice, on the 4-hour here, a nice wick right here. I always talk about watch the wicks, guys. And we saw a nice wick right here of buyers coming in to scoop in and rescue those lows. So when you see that sort of thing, get long. We made a lot of money off this in chat today, for sure. So that was a good play. But that's pretty much what we got going on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin had this double top reject at 10,000. And that coupled with the Ethereum FUD, which we're about to get into, is what kind of led to this sell-off. Okay, so let's jump over here to Ethereum. Let's talk about Ethereum a little bit. So in Ethereum, what we saw here, I'll go ahead and delete these lines here for you. What we saw here is that, Ethereum has been, much more volatile than Bitcoin over the past, 2 weeks. So when Bitcoin goes down, Ethereum goes really down. And when Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes really up. It's exponential, right? So that's what you got to keep in mind. So Ethereum pulled back right here. And again, we saw the buyers come in and scoop up the lows. We see the correlation between Bitcoin and Ethereum. The reason why Ethereum was selling off is because the Wall Street Journal essentially announced that there was going to be an SEC meet. The Security Exchange Commission was going to meet and discuss essentially whether they were going to declassify Ethereum as a currency, or as a security. And if they did that, essentially what would happen is it would be delisted on multiple exchanges because those exchanges aren't licensed to trade securities. And we'd see a dump on Ethereum short term is basically what would have happened. So, more regulation for crypto is never, a good thing as far as what people interpret it as the market. But, you can talk about that as much as you want, as adoption versus regulation and stuff like that. But the big picture is people didn't like the fact that this meeting was taking place. So people started selling out, and it was a great opportunity short and to scoop up long into those lows, which is what we did in chat today, which I'll talk about that. And I'll break it down to the hourly so you can see a little bit more detailed. So what happened was, guess what, guys? 11:30, I was finding, and you'll look at, multiple different, cryptocurrency streamers and YouTubers were talking about this news that was coming out regarding the SEC meeting. But no one could find any information on it. I was jumping to multiple different people and talking to people, trying to figure out, hey, do you know when this is going on? What time frame is it, etc. I found that I received word that it was going to happen at 11:30. I knew it was on the 7th, but some people were saying the 8th, and it was just different news everywhere, and it was really strange. So time came around at 11:30 on the 7th, which was today, for this to happen, and Ethereum's price didn't go down anymore. It didn't go down, didn't go up. It just kind of stood there horizontally. So I'll go ahead and break this down for you. I was like, that's strange. So we're just sitting here watching this double bottom in Ethereum right in here, and just waiting for something to happen. We're just waiting for it to happen. We thought this thing was going to tank. I had orders set up sub 700 just in case, they classify as a security and I could take advantage of some dip buys there or some volatility. And the news came out. Nothing really happened. Interesting. So that was in this area right here, guys. Nothing really happened. And so when it wasn't going down, the next logical thing to think is, okay, it's going up. Basically, if it doesn't go down, it's probably going to go up. When the news that came out that everyone was afraid of turned out not to be true, the whole thing was a fake, guys. The entire thing was a fake. People started calling the courthouse, and turns out that the meeting was never scheduled. This whole thing that was put out by the Wall Street Journal was fake. So basically, somebody wanted to get into Bitcoin, all right, or Ethereum, whatever. Somebody wanted to get in, and they were short and they wanted to profit off the dip. So the whole thing was fake. What did I do? I bought in heavily. I hammered this price action right in here, guys. Hammered it. Absolutely hammered it. I went in with some size. We called it out in chat. Everybody, essentially the whole chat was long Ethereum. Everybody piled in on Ethereum, and I knocked out for a couple hours, came back, made a couple $100. Other people did as well. It was great. It was fantastic. If you're not in here, you should be. That's what I'm going to say right now regarding the chat room. It's just a real positive environment, and I'll talk about that a little bit more, but everyone nailed that. Great Ethereum trade. I entered in the 740 area was my average. And I ended up scaling out into this move right here is where I scaled out. And it was great. It was made a couple $100. It was a good trade. That was nice. It was, kind of patted the wallet after my EOS trade, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. Let's see, we're at 9 minutes. Okay. So on Ethereum right now, levels to be watching is really just keep an eye on the, of course, 750. Always keep an eye on that horizontal support and resistance. 750. And I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. Of course, we have plenty of resistance. We have resistance here at the 775. Which correlates with kind of 9,500 on Bitcoin. So watch Bitcoin when you're watching this level. And above that, let's just wait and see. Because these are the two levels I'm watching. This is the range we're in. If we pull back, I would expect Ethereum to make a higher low in this area is what I'll be looking at. And we just need more chart data. We need to see some consistent lows being put in. And let's just keep an eye out on that, and keep an eye on Bitcoin as well. For Litecoin, I've been talking about the Litecoin. Essentially, this behaved the same way as Ethereum and Bitcoin did with this sell-off right here. Regarding Litecoin, I've been keeping an eye on the Litecoin to Bitcoin ratio, and I had this cup and handle idea for that ratio. I want to see it over the 1,800 Satoshi area. I've been talking about this, and sure enough, we saw this bounce into which could form the bottom of that handle right there. So continue to keep an eye on Litecoin. Things could, we see a breakout over this level, things could start really accelerating. And just like how Ethereum has been more bullish compared to Bitcoin, Litecoin could easily trade places with Ethereum. So definitely make sure you keep that on your radar, guys. And that's really what I'm looking at right now on Litecoin. I'm not really trading this, to be honest with you, not at all. But again, just keep it on the 165 level and the 163 level, and just be patient with it. If you're trading Litecoin, I would just hold, honestly. I'll just hold for right now and keep an eye on Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does, that's how I would react to the Litecoin chart. And really, that's what I got for right now, guys. We've been seeing some, regarding my EOS trade, I scooped a little EOS up into this pattern. Where is it right here? Where is it at? Right here. Okay. So on EOS, I actually bought this right before the pump earlier today. Essentially, what I saw was that when Ethereum was selling off and everyone was freaking out about the meeting, EOS was holding very strong compared to other altcoins. So right where I circled, I ended up getting long there. And immediately we saw that huge spike. I ended up scaling out into this bounce right here. And now we're still going even further. So welcome to trading. I love it. But yeah, that's what I did there. I just saw that it was holding really well and how that rounded bottom. So made some nice money there as well. And also ADA is moving right now. Guys, keep an eye on your altcoins. They're really starting to move. We're seeing a lot of this action right here. We put in a high, had a nice curling bottom, and now we're looking to retest prior resistance right here. So keep an eye on that. Look for this pattern on different altcoins. If you want to take some positions, go for it. Just set your risk at the previous support, and you're good to go there. Let's see what happens. And so we'll go ahead and jump over here regarding the community, guys. I want to really bring this up. This was absolutely amazing today, guys. Today we had the perfect opportunity in Ethereum. A lot of times we'll have many different opinions, which is fantastic for adding value to the chat room. But for this specific occasion, what we saw was that the news was fake. There was a moment of silence. And then everyone's like, hey, get long Ethereum. And everyone started posting their entries and exits in Ethereum, saying they were long. It was great. It was really exciting, guys. I love seeing that. It's a very positive environment. Like I say here, we're focused on adding value add information. We're looking at to talk about, hey, I entered here, exit here. Here's my sizing. Here's why I think it. And here's what's going on. Everyone here has skin in the game. We're focused on positivity and encouraging each other, encouraging people of all different skill levels. And we're all pursuing two things. That's positivity and profitability. And that's it. So definitely shoot. If you want more information, shoot me a PM, shoot me a comment in the comment section down below. Hit me up on Twitter. We'll talk about it. Shoot me an email. I can give you a little bit more information. I would love to see some more of you guys there. We definitely had a lot of fun with Ethereum today. And that's really all I got today, guys. Be careful of the FUD. Be careful of different news like that, because you never know when it could just turn out to be fake. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I have another video out here in a couple hours. Just going to keep an eye on price action and sit on my profits for today, guys. So that's it. Continue to focus on developing your trading mentality, which is your bot mentality. Learning to trade like a machine and eliminate all your emotions. I'm getting out of here, guys. You have a great rest of your day. Deuces.